Hello, hello! I hope you are having a fabulous Wednesday. This will be a double header. I have two videos for you today. The first one is going to be a video for Spiegel Mom Scraps, and I'm going to be using my How to Kill a Kit with style. So I'm going to match my entire page around these sequins. These are the Peaches and Cream sequins from Spiegel Mom Scraps, and they're on sale in the shop right now, and then you can use my code to save a little bit extra off of them. So the technique I'm going to show you today is a pretty sequin intensive technique. Oh, I'm showing you here that I was starting to color some of the coloring pages that I had put in my kit. So this is going to require you to buy more than one package of the sequins that you like, and we are going to have a lot of fun. I love how this technique turned out. I'm just taking some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. I am putting it along the edge of the page, and then I'm smushing it down super quickly. This is sped up, and in case you didn't, I was quite quick. And now I am putting sequins all across the page. I'm going to push them in a little bit so they're nice and clustered all together. You can see here, push them down really, really well. Let the excess ones kind of drop off, catch the edges, collect those sequins together. We need more sequins for sure. Add a little bit more glue. Smush the glue down a little bit. Take all those sequins. Dump them right back on, push them in, and that's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep going here. We're going to add smushes of glue. We're going to smush the sequins into the paper. We're going to knock them off just a touch to make sure that other sequins are going to stay where they are glued. And you will see that doing this technique, the sequins are a process. They're going to need maintenance throughout the entirety of the creation of the layout, but the effect is so worth it. So worth it, y'all. I just said y'all, and I never say such things. Alright, so you can see here where I'm kind of grabbing some of the ones that look like they might be loose, and I'm readjusting them, adding a bit more glue. And I'm just going to keep going with this technique until I have the entire bottom of the paper coated with sequins. And when I say coated, I mean coated with sequins. So you can see here how I have the bottom coated. I don't want them to be in a straight line. I want them to be kind of flowy. And so I let this dry for quite a while just to make sure that we have that the glue is cured and there aren't any more sequins that are going to fall off. I kept kind of bumping throughout the entirety of this layout. I bumped this paper. I kept bumping it to shake any of the loose sequins off. And now what I want to do is I want the sequins to look like they're kind of contained to the bottom, but then floating up. So this is the first layer of sequins with the Nuvo glue. Now I'm going in with my Crystal Katana and my Nuvo, and I'm filling in big open spaces. So there might have been parts where I didn't have enough glue, where a sequin didn't catch the glue and adhere. And so now I'm going through this entire bottom because I want the bottom to be completely just chock full of sequins. I want all the sequins at the bottom of the page. So I'm just going to continue on here. I am putting down some Nuvo glue in the empty open spaces. If there's a sequin as I'm doing this that looks like it is hanging on by a thread, or it's a little loose, I am gluing that one back on. And so this took some love and attention. I won't lie to you. Crystal Katanas make it really, really fabulous to be able to do tiny little intricate pages like this where you're going through and you're just adding the little sequins into the open spots. So I'm going to turn the paper to the side now, and now I want the sequins to kind of fall up. I want them to go clustered and then look like they're kind of floating up in the air. I did grab this is what 2 packs of sequins looks like, FYI. I did grab a third because I thought that I was going to have to grab a third mix and pull just the peach colors out of that third mix. But I made do with the with 2 packages of sequins. So just so you know, this is what 2 packages of sequins looks like. And what I'm going to do is there's a couple areas on that bottom where you have sequins on top of sequins. And so I'm going to do some work later and just kind of get it. So you can see here what I did. I have them really clustered at the bottom, a little more clustered as they start to float up. And then as I come up to the top here, I have them kind of floating just a little bit more. And so I'm moving them around, I'm spacing them out. I know about where I want my photo to be. It's going to be right there, and I know I want clusters and layers and different things up there, so I'm happy with the way that those sequins landed. And now I'm going to take my crystal katana and my glue, and I'm going to glue down every one of the sequins. One at a time. Yep, just like this. And as I was doing this, I will tell you to make sure that I got every sequin glued down. At certain points in this process, when I felt like I was done, but I wasn't sure if I missed a sequin, I would just ever so slightly blow on the paper, and if anything moved, it got glued down. Fast forward in time quite a bit. I will let all of the sequins dry, and watch this. You will see me do this throughout this layout. I am going to be moving this cardstock around. I'm not going to be careful with it because anything that is going to pop off, I want it to pop off now. Just that simple. So I've decided to go with, part of my kit is this 6x6 Authentique paper. I think it's called Dreamy. It came in one of my cherry boxes, and I really like it. It's really different. Authentique is not a company I usually gravitate towards or buy, so I was really happy to get this 6x6 pad to kind of play and get a feel for this company's papers. So I'm just choosing a couple of these 6x6 papers that I like, and I'm going to choose a piece of the one of the smaller cut-apart sheets, and those are the things I'm going to use on my layout. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to layer up a bunch of papers. I'm going to make these layers not perfect, and I'm going to kind of make them big, and I'm going to use scraps. Here you're going to see how I'm going to do that. And I'm just layering up all these patterns behind my photo. The photo is a black and white photo of myself and my niece Ella, and my sister took this picture. It's super cute. I love it, and I really just felt like this was just the picture I felt like scrapbooking today. And I thought with it being black and white, it would work with whatever I decided to do with my sequins and my H2KAKWS style for July. And you can see how I'm layering these. I am using offcuts, and I'm making the layers wonky and just layering things up. I'm not perfect at layering, but I just kind of go for it. It's also not something I do all the time, but when I do create layers, this is how I do it. So I know I want that photo right there because I love how she's kind of looking down, and it almost looks like she's looking down into all the sequins that are coming up. And then I also have that little saying that I fussy cut from the cut-apart sheet, and now I'm looking at some of the other embellishments and deciding which ones I'm going to use. I was thinking about using those stamps because I know exactly what I want my title to be, but in the end I opt to go with something else. And I'm not going to use the stamps from Jen Scow, well, I'm not going to use one of them. The other one, the one with the flowers, that I'm going to use all the way. There's going to be so many of those on there. And then I'm kind of looking at some of my puffy stickers and the die cuts and the sticker book and just kind of getting into my head what I have to work with embellishment-wise. So I've chosen the embellishments that I want, and I am snapping a photo on my phone because I don't want to forget the placement. Because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my Misty, and we're going to do some stamping. So the sequin mix I chose down below, it's mostly light colors. The peaches and cream is lots of peaches and aquas and very light colors. But then there's these pops of black. and I want to make sure that I'm bringing some of the black to the upper part of my layout as well. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to do some stamping. And I'm going to show you a little stamping Misty trick. So all of these elements are on my paper, but they're not glued down. I know that I want these stamped images to kind of come up from behind my photo and my embellishments, but I don't want to mess up the placement. And the placement is going to get a little tricky, right? Because I want it to come up from behind just so. So this is what I'm doing. I'm taking all of my clear acrylic stamps and I am placing them exactly where I want them. Now I'm going to close my Misty so that the stamps are exactly where I want them on the page. And now I'm going to pull up all those pieces. So when I stamp these images down, they're going to be exactly where I want them, and then when I put the paper pieces back down, they're going to pop out. You'll see in a second. And then because it's in my Misty, I can go ahead and double or triple stamp these images and get them nice and black exactly the way I want. For some of the hearts, instead of doing the black solid hearts, I grabbed a collection of Distress Oxides that matched my color scheme for this layout. I have dried marigold, antique linen, and Victorian velvet. And those were the 3 colors that I used. And so now you can see how when I go ahead and put those elements back down on my page, the stamped pieces are going to hit exactly where I want them to because I laid them out. Now I know that I want to do the upper corner, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the stamps that I want. I'm going to place them on the page where I want them to peek out from around my photo. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place them around. And you can see how you can do this. This is a really cool element to the Misty, is that you can do this. I love being able to know exactly where my stamps are going to stamp in relation to my layout. And so now I grab the stamps, I can ink them up, I'm going to move my photos and the other things out of the way so I don't stamp on top of them, and then I'm going to continue on to create this background. So now I'm taking some Glorious Days Vibes from Shimmers, which is the perfect substitute for Heidi Spot Gold Color Shine, and I'm going to just splatter some around my sequins and a little bit up. A little bit of free range stamping down around and in amongst the sequins. I wanted to make sure that the sequin elements and colors kind of come up into the top of the page, and then some of the stamping images come down to the bottom. Okay, so now I think I'm ready to start adhering these elements down to my page and then seeing what else I need. I have a few more hearts here, and I decided I wanted just a couple more. I may have gone a little bit overboard on the hearts. Yeah, I did. I should have edited a little bit better, but it was so much fun to stamp them, and they looked so pretty, so I just kept stamping. But that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and use some of these Crepe Paper Journal Studio stickers. These stickers are part of the sticker book. There's like 3 or 4 different colors. I'm using the wood grain ones, and I'm just going to spell out my girl, and I wanted them to be really straight and nice and even. So while I do this, my head's going to be in the way like the whole time. The last little bit of embellishment that I'm going to go ahead and add to this layout are just a couple of puffy stickers, and I'm going to fiddle around with these butterflies a lot because I want the 3 little butterflies, but I'm just not sure where exactly that I want them. And I'm just going to keep looking. So kind of off camera, because I didn't want to make anyone like seasick, I have been, every time I pick up this layout and move it, I've been shaking it. And any sequins that fall off, I put them into a little triangle tray off to above me. And then at the end of this layout, off camera when it's all finished, I took all those sequins and stuck them all down to the layout. So, but I'm just adding all of these, a couple of these little puffy stickers. I'm kind of making sure that my clusters are full, And you can see here, yep. So through this whole layout, I was doing this. Collecting the ones that aren't sticking and falling off. And then I was I was practicing good sequin conservation measures here. And then I went back at the end and glued all of those ones down. Just going to snip this little piece off, and that's going to complete this layout. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, these Peaches and Cream sequins are on sale, and you can use my code to save an extra 15%. And here is a close-up. I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday, and I'll see you all again later tonight. Bye!